Employers. Who's the biggest nincompoop you've ever come across? I hired a guy who almost destroyed my entire company with a fantasy football spreadsheet. I run a small tech startup in Austin. We're like 15 people total. Everyone does everything. I'm the boss, but I also fix the coffee machine and take out trash. That's startup life. Last year we landed this huge government contract, like the kind that could actually make us real money. But there was a catch. We needed a compliance officer, someone who knew all the legal stuff and federal regulations. We had 2 weeks to find someone or we'd lose the contract. That's when Nate showed up. His resume looked perfect. Said he worked compliance for the Air Force for 5 years, had a law degree from some university in Virginia, even listed 3 references. During the interview, he kept using acronyms I'd never heard of. FERPA this, HIPAA that, SOC 2 compliance. I didn't understand half of it, but it sounded legit. My partner Jamie said he seemed confident. We hired him the next day. First week was fine. Nate showed up on time, wore a button-down shirt, brought his own lunch in a little cooler. He set up his desk with like 4 different binders and a label maker, looked professional. He didn't talk much, but we figured he was just getting settled. Second week, things got weird. He had to file some paperwork with a federal agency. Basic stuff, but every single form came back rejected. Missing signatures, wrong dates. One form was literally blank except for his name. When I asked him about it, he said the printer was acting up. I checked the printer. It was fine. Then came the shared drive incident. We keep everything on a shared drive. Client files, contracts, budgets, everything. One morning I come in and half of it's gone. Just deleted. I'm freaking out. Jamie's freaking out. We're calling our IT guy who's also our intern. Nate walks in with his coffee and goes, "Oh yeah, I was optimizing the file structure last night. Thought I'd clean things up." He deleted 6 months of work. Luckily our intern had a backup from the week before, but we still lost stuff. I sat Nate down and told him do not touch anything without asking me first. He nodded and said he understood. Wrote himself a little note that said, "Ask Carla first." Things were tense, but we needed him. The contract deadline was coming up. We had to submit a full compliance audit to this federal agency. Like 100 pages of documents proving we follow all their rules. Nate said he'd handle it, spent 3 days working on it. Wouldn't let anyone see it until it was done. Said he wanted it to be perfect. Finally, he emails it off. We all celebrated. Ordered pizza. I thought we were good. 2 days later, I get a call from the agency. The woman sounds confused. She says we sent them a spreadsheet about football. I thought she was joking. She wasn't. Nate had attached his fantasy football roster instead of the compliance documents. The file was called Audit Final, but it was literally just his draft picks and player stats. The agency flagged us for non-compliance. We had 72 hours to resubmit or lose the contract. I asked Nate how this happened. He looked at his computer and said, "Well, both files are color-coded green, so I must have grabbed the wrong one." The man cost us a $50,000 contract extension because he couldn't tell the difference between a federal audit and fantasy football. I decided to check his references. Should have done that first. I called the first number, disconnected. Second number went to a pizza place in Denver. Third one was his mom. She was super nice actually. Said Nate was trying really hard to get his life together. I asked about his law degree. Long pause. She said, "Honey, Nate bought that online for $80. It's not real." I felt my stomach drop. I asked about the military. She sighed. He got kicked out of basic training after 2 weeks for failing the physical test. Twice. I called Nate into my office. Asked him point blank if anything on his resume was true. He got really quiet. Then he said I thought this was like an entry-level thing. I said, "Nate, this is compliance for a federal contract." He looked genuinely surprised. "So this is like a real compliance job? Like with actual laws?" I couldn't even be mad anymore. I was just amazed. This man sat through 2 weeks of work and never once thought maybe I should mention I don't know what I'm doing. I fired him on the spot. Had to hire an actual lawyer to fix everything he messed up. Cost us another $20,000. We almost lost the contract, but managed to save it last minute. Took our whole team working nights and weekends.